Well, hey, Becoming Me. I am so excited to introduce you to my warrior friend, Mandy. Mandy, welcome to BecomingMe.tv.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. And you guys, I have to tell you, Mandy and I met through Instagram DMs. That's right. We met literally on Instagram, and I've been able to see her story, hear her journey, and what she's doing and who she is incredible. So I can't wait for our time today, Mandy. And I mean, we always kick Becoming Stories off with probably the hardest question. Who is Mandy?
Oh, loaded question. That
Right?
is, right? It is a loaded question. Well, first and foremost, I am a wife and a mama of three. So 3 kids, it's like 1,000 kids, it feels like. And to think we wanted four, but three, we're like, three is good. So, 3 babies. And then I would say what I do for a living, I'm a hairstylist and an educator. So I've been behind the chair for over 15 years and educating for over 5 years and traveling the country teaching stylists. And I adore hairdressers. It's been exciting to help them grow and love their business and have that work-life balance, if that exists, right? As best as we can. But then as I was doing that, I also started, if I didn't have enough going on, Family Strong Project with my husband, Joel. So that's been, as we talk about becoming, right? That was something that God really put heavy on our hearts. And we started Family Strong Project. So yeah, that's who I am.
That's incredible. And I'm excited for us to hear a little bit more about Family Strong Project in a little bit too. But before we get there, and this might even be a part of your story, but I would love for you, you mentioned we talk about becoming. We're all on this becoming journey. We all have a story. So I would love for you to just take some time and unpack your journey. Like, what has made you who you are today?
Yeah, it's been so beautiful. It's been intense. I like to talk about resilience and really leaning into my faith to continue to stand on the rock, right? As these storms pass by. My father-in-law always says, he's a local pastor here in Fort Myers, and he always says it's not about if a storm will come, it's about when a storm will come. And there's been just so many storms in my life that I've had to pick myself back up and really lean on God to say, okay, where do you want me to go? Like, what is next for me? What do you want? What is my purpose here in this moment, in this season? So as I've been going through that, I was a young mom and a single mom, and my husband and I, we started dating when my son was about 2 years old, and we decided to step into doing things God's way before we got married. So we went through that forgiveness process and really doing things God's way before we got married. And that was incredible and a blessing. And then as we got married, we had our other 2 children, and things were really great. And I built this incredible career behind the chair. I mean, it was so beautiful, and it was successful, right? Like the definition of success. And we had everything. And then December of 2019, I had a back injury, right? A hairdresser's worst nightmare.
Oh no.
Had a back injury, and my body wouldn't heal from it. And it wouldn't heal. It wouldn't heal. It still is not healed. And it led to finding out that there's underlying conditions. So we are, as we talk about going through seasons in our life, right? And listening for God's purpose in your life. And we know that sometimes it's in the valleys that we can almost hear him louder. Like I remember when I was a single mom, I really reached out to God in that time and really reconnected with God because when things are good, we don't, I will say I have a habit of, I don't lean into his word as much. I don't seek that deep relationship with him as much. But when I'm in the valley, I'm like, God, what is happening? I need you. So when I was a single mom, I really reconnected, and then I was really successful and relied on myself. Right. And now, as we find ourselves in the trench of this valley, it is so deep. God is present, and he is so present. And, you know, I'm so grateful for this valley, because our family has grown, you know, and our children have watched mommy and daddy dig deep. They've watched us cry. They've watched us wipe each other's tears. They've watched us pick each other up, and they've watched us create a plan and rely on God. They've watched us dig into scripture to, you know, find our strength, and they've prayed with us, and it's been really beautiful. And I see God moving and working through it all. So
that's incredible. It made me actually think of, and I have to tell you this too. It made me think of this quote that my pastor had shared a while back. Okay, here, God does his greatest work in our darkest moments. Like, it's crazy. And it's exactly what you were just unpacking. And often in those low valleys, really discover him more. And how you described it as this beautiful opportunity for your kids to see mom and dad trusting God, perhaps in a way you've never trusted him before. Like, the foundation you're building for your children right now is incredible, like absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I would like, you know, sign up for, like, hey, can I do that?
Yes.
Hey, would love to, you know, herniate that disc and go through all this stuff. But I definitely, as I see, you know, it is beautiful. I swear that I'm going to write a book one day called Beautifully Broken, you know, that just really does unpack that. And I'm clinging to, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Right. And I remember also when I was a single mom and I went to this Christian counselor, she was amazing. And she's like, you know, you're going to have to take a season, you know, maybe of not dating, and just, you know, rebuild who you are and what your value is and your worth, you know. And I'm like, so like the summer, you want me to take like the summer of not dating? Like,
Yes.
I didn't fully understand what a season meant. And so as I'm in this really long season, like December 2019 was a long time ago that this started. I'm like, whew, it's a season now. This is a season. But what is interesting is that I have been able to work on some things that I think God is calling me to. So, which are terrifying, by the way. Like, it's terrifying, you know? Like Jonah and the whale, anybody, you know?
For real. I mean, and so now, like, I'm curious too, when you find yourself in this season, like you referenced, okay, December 2019, like everything changes. You step into the season, and we're now, the time that we're filming this, it's 2021, like the summer of 2021. Yeah. That's the season. So how are you encouraging yourself and like not getting stuck in a pit in your season, you know, like even lower in the valley?
Speaking of pit, can we also please call out a slice of 2020? There was a pandemic, there was homeschooling 3 children, like, and a health crisis, which also, you know, there's financial situations when mama's not working. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, some marriages don't survive things like this. So there was so much. And so that's a great question. It was not all beautiful, right? It wasn't all beautiful. But it is, you know, we remain faithful, right? And so, and it still isn't beautiful all the time. You know, we can put makeup on and curl our hair, but it doesn't mean that we are not struggling or suffering or in pain. And that's where I really have dug back into my faith. And, you know, when we were at the beginning of our marriage going through the adoption process for my oldest son, there was so much unknown. There was so much unknown. And it was one day at a time, one prayer at a time. And I was so strong then, right? I was so strong in my faith then. And I'm reminded, just like then, that's what applies now, you know? And so I'm re-anchoring my faith. I'm redefining who I am as a woman. My husband and I are really, I'm finding, stepping into our God-given roles, right? He is out as the provider and he is stepping up so incredibly. And I'm so proud of him. And I, the person who likes to control and be secure, am having to trust and let go and rest. And, you know, and that's, you know, with this injury, like everyone's rest, you have to rest. Okay. I don't rest well. Like I got to do the dishes. I like to work. I like to do all these things, but I'm finding that right now I'm being called to be present and be with my children, and I'm needed elsewhere, and it's okay. So that's been part of the journey too.
I love what you unpacked there. That's encouragement to me, and I know to so many people watching. You know, if you were, well, first let me ask, are you a coffee drinker?
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Okay. So how do you drink your coffee?
Well, it depends. In the morning, I start out with it black, but then if I have an afternoon, I do coconut oil with some vanilla collagen and some organic butter in there.
That sounds
Because it tastes like a Starbucks.
Ooh,
it's like a Starbucks in the afternoon.
We are soul sisters. I start with it black in the morning as well, and then give me something a little sweeter in the afternoon. But I need to try what you just said. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's called Bulletproof Coffee is what it's called.
Ooh. Okay, so if you were having a bulletproof coffee with another warrior on their own becoming journey, what would you say to encourage them?
Oh, just be present and listen to where God is calling you. Just slow down. And it's okay. There's beauty in life's interruptions. And it doesn't feel like that, but there's beauty in life's interruptions, and there's lessons to be learned. And it's amazing. And your spouse is not your enemy. You know, like, God chose them for a reason, and maybe there's something about them that you need to trust. Like for me, I needed to trust my husband's discernment. I didn't recognize it as discernment, but it was, and God gave him that incredible gift. And so I needed to trust that. And it's been a great blessing ever since I began to trust that.
That is amazing. Such good advice and very encouraging. You know, earlier you shared a little bit about what you and your husband have launched. Tell us a little bit more about it and how people can even connect, because what you're doing is really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we started Family Strong Project. We actually started it several years ago when it was laid on our hearts. We teach a phrase called spend time with things that love you back. And it's really all about, you know, technology and screens and screen times, and how do we navigate that with ourselves and with our kids, right? Because nobody's raised kids in this technology saturated world before. So I'm actually going to be teaching a webinar called Parenting in a Digital World here pretty soon. And we have a digital course that's coming out. But it's all about, you know, we want to teach our kids to ride the bike. You know, we don't want to just take the bike away. So that's what I want to do, is teach our kids how to navigate and have digital awareness or digital responsibility. You know, we're taught not to have idols in our life. So that can be anything, you know, like you said, we met through Instagram and social media. So it's not, again, it's not the enemy, right? It's not a bad thing. Technology can be a wonderful thing, but we want them to navigate it well. And we want them to recognize that, to be present, you know, so video games, and that's a great way to unwind and have fun and engage with friends, social media and all those things. But at the end of the day, we want you to not be consumed by that. We want you to spend time with things that love you back, right there under your roof in your home. So
that's amazing. So if somebody wanted to learn more or get connected with you and what you're doing, where can they go?
You absolutely can go to FamilyStrongProject.com, or you can come hang out with us on Instagram at Family Strong Project. I am Mandy_inspired over on Instagram. But yeah, we would love to hang out with you.
And you guys, we will have all of these links in the notes so you can easily connect with Mandy. And girl, like, thank you so much just for sharing your story, your journey, who you are, who you're becoming. Like, this has been so inspiring and encouraging to me. And I just thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I think it is so incredible what you're doing and sharing people's stories. I think it's incredible when we let go and let God, right? And just watch him move in our lives. Sometimes we go kicking and screaming. Sometimes we're like, wait, what? I wasn't ready to do that. But I think it's incredible what you're doing. And I'm so excited to see what else you do in the future too. So
well, thank you. I'm cheering you on.